We've all heard the wild tales of superheroes getting insane powers after some freak accident. And if you haven't, well, seriously, what cave have you been hiding in? But here's the real, actual thing. Sometimes real life isn't too far off. Throughout history, a handful of people have survived brutal accidents, only to wake up different. Some unlocked jaw-dropping memories, others found their senses heightened beyond anything normal, and a few even showed strength that flat-out shattered logic. Science still can't fully explain it, but one thing's for sure, these people were never the same. Here are the 15 people who gained real superpowers after an accident. Number 5, Kim Peek. Kim Peek, the real-life inspiration behind Rain Man, wasn't just a savant, he was something far rarer. Born with a genesis of the corpus callosum, Kim's brain lacked the bridge that normally connects its two hemispheres. That difference gave him not some freakish disease, but super astonishing gifts. By age 2, he could read and remember entire books, often finishing volumes within an hour and recalling every detail perfectly. His mind was a living library, packed with vast knowledge on subjects from geography to classical music to sports statistics. Kim could look at a city map once and instantly memorize the entire layout, even if he'd never visited. But as an old man once said, brilliance came with big challenges. Despite his unmatched memory, Kim struggled with abstract thinking and basic motor skills. Still, his existence proved something amazing, that even a brain built differently can perform miracles. Kim Peek wasn't just unique, he redefined what human memory can be when the mind breaks every standard rule. Number 14, Orlando Sorrell. One afternoon, while playing baseball with friends, Orlando Sorrell took a fastball straight to the side of his head. No helmet, no hospital trip, just a rough hit and a stubborn kid who shook it off. But something inside his brain changed forever. Not long after, Orlando realized he could remember every single day of his life since that moment, from the weather to what he wore to what he ate. It wasn't just a memory. He could instantly tell you the day of the week for any given date without hesitation, a mental feat known as calendrical calculation. Before the accident, Orlando was an ordinary kid. Afterward, he became someone with an ability so rare it barely had a scientific explanation. Experts believe his condition falls under acquired savant syndrome, where brain trauma awakens hidden abilities. Orlando never asked for this strange gift, but he learned to live with it, showing that sometimes what feels like random chaos can end up reshaping who we are in ways nobody sees coming. We hope this guy can do his best with his power. Number 13, Tony Sikoria. Tony was living an ordinary life as an orthopedic surgeon until the day lightning quite literally changed his wiring. While making a call at a public phone booth, a bolt struck him with enough force to stop his heart. After being revived, Tony recovered physically, but something inside had shifted. An obsession with music gripped him, overwhelming and constant. Having no background in playing piano, he bought one anyway, guided by a feeling he couldn't explain. Within weeks, Tony found himself composing original pieces, melodies that flowed from his mind like they had always been there. His new life centered around music, despite his full-time work in medicine. Tony's transformation stunned both medical professionals and musicians. Brain scans showed anomalies, but none could fully explain his new drive and talent. His story cuts through everything we think about learning and creativity, proving sometimes the universe crashes into you, and when it does, it can leave behind something beautiful instead of sadness. Number 12, Alonzo Clemens. As a toddler, Alonzo Clemens suffered a brain injury so severe it left him with significant cognitive challenges and a reported IQ in the mid-40s. But hidden within the damage was something extraordinary. From a young age, Alonzo showed a natural ability to sculpt, creating perfectly detailed animal figures out of clay with no formal training. His gift wasn't just rare, it was breathtaking. He could glance at a horse once and within minutes, recreate its form with astonishing accuracy. Even in complete darkness, his hands knew exactly where to move. Despite his intellectual struggles, Alonso's work spoke a language far more complex than any traditional measure of intelligence. His life-sized sculptures of horses captured such lifelike movement and spirit that collectors around the world began to take notice. Some of his pieces have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Alonso's story crushes the myth that genius always looks a certain way. Sometimes it hides behind walls people are too quick to underestimate. Number 11. Jason Paget. Jason Paget's life pivoted on a single brutal night. After being attacked outside a karaoke bar in 2002, the world he woke up to wasn't the same one he knew. Vision blurred into patterns, and reality seemed to slow down around him. Straight lines became fractals, geometric figures repeated endlessly, and mathematics unfolded before his eyes. Before the assault, Jason had no particular interest in academics. He was a furniture salesman without a college degree. But now, complex mathematical structures poured from his mind onto paper, as if he had tapped into some invisible architecture of the universe. Doctors later diagnosed him with acquired savant syndrome, a rare condition where brain trauma unlocks hidden capabilities. Jason's injuries didn't just damage his brain, they awakened a stunning talent for visualizing and drawing intricate mathematical concepts by hand. His journey from an ordinary life to becoming a star mathematical artist reminds us that tragedy, as brutal as it may seem, can sometimes reveal parts of ourselves we never knew existed. Number 10. Tommy McHugh. Well, you won't believe it, but Tommy McHugh's transformation wasn't gradual. It hit like a thunderclap. After 2 blood vessels burst in his brain, leaving him in a coma, Tommy woke up feeling like a brand new person. Before the accident, he was rough around the edges, a handyman with a short fuse and little interest in creativity. But post-injury, something inside him exploded. Poetry poured out of him. Art took over his world. He began painting obsessively, splashing vibrant images across walls, floors, and ceilings, desperate to express what he felt had happened inside his mind. His friends barely recognized him. Gone was the street brawler. In his place stood a man obsessed with beauty, peace, and deeper meaning. Scientists were fascinated, trying to understand how trauma could unlock such overwhelming creativity. Tommy's story proves that even after devastation, the brain can rebuild, not just to survive, but to reinvent who we are at our very core. Imagine, after slipping from the stairs, one can shoot lasers. Number 9. Ben McMahon. This guy's life was flipped upside down after a devastating car crash left him in a coma for over a week. When he woke up, the world he knew didn't sound the same because the only language he could speak was Mandarin Chinese. Before the accident, Ben had casually studied Mandarin in school, but he was far from fluent. Now he spoke it with perfect grammar and a natural accent, shocking his family and doctors alike. Slowly, English crept back into his speech, but the gift of Mandarin never left. Rather than question it, Ben embraced it, even moving to China to study and build a career. His case baffled neurologists as it broke conventional ideas about how language is stored and accessed in the brain. Today, Ben's life is woven into both English and Mandarin worlds, a constant reminder that sometimes trauma rewires us into versions of ourselves we never thought possible, and that those new selves can open doors we never imagined existed. Number 8. Nikolai Kryaglyachenko. Well, life is sometimes weird. One freak accident changed Nikolai Kryaglyachenko's life forever. After getting zapped by a faulty street lamp in Russia, this young boy noticed something strange the very next morning. Metal objects started sticking to his skin. Coins clung to him like glue, and spoons stuck to his chest like he was wearing an invisible magnet. While Nikolai joked about becoming a real-life Magneto, his super strange abilities stirred curiosity and skepticism alike. Some scientists suggested that natural oils or slight skin stickiness might be behind the effect, while others pointed to possible environmental factors. Regardless, classmates lined up to watch him show off his magnetism during recess. Even more bizarre, Nikolai reported that non-metallic objects like glasses of water sometimes moved toward him too. Though experts debate whether true magnetism is at play, Nikolai's experience captured imaginations worldwide, a reminder that sometimes the human body doesn't play by the usual rules of nature. Number 7. Edward Muybridge. Long before Hollywood's golden age, Edward Muybridge's fate was sealed during a violent stagecoach crash in 1860. Thrown from the wreckage and striking his head on a rock, he fell into a deep coma. When he finally regained consciousness, something essential had shifted inside him. Once a lively, sociable man, Muybridge became withdrawn, obsessive, and driven by strange new passions. His fascination with photography grew into something bigger when he famously took on a challenge to capture a galloping horse's stride, proving whether all 4 hooves left the ground at once. To do it, he lined a racetrack with tripwire-triggered cameras, creating sequential images that, when played in order, showed continuous motion for the first time. This accidental innovation birthed the foundation of modern cinema. Muybridge's personal life, marked by violent impulses and eccentric behavior, showed the unpredictable ways head trauma can alter personality. Yet it was this transformation that gave the world moving pictures, a legacy that continues to shape human storytelling to this day. Alright guys, now let's move to number 6, Derek Amato. Well, here is another Pino Power guy. At 39, during a casual game with friends, he dove into a shallow pool and struck his head on the concrete floor. Bloodied and slipping in and out of consciousness, Derek had no idea that the accident would reroute the rest of his life. When he finally stabilized, he noticed something strange. Music, complex, flowing, complete compositions echoed in his head like they had always been there. Without knowing how, Derek sat at a piano, and melodies poured from his fingers. Diagnosed later with acquired savant syndrome, he had never studied music seriously before his injury. Yet post-accident, he could perform and compose with breathtaking ease. Despite battling migraines, memory lapses, and partial deafness, Derek chose to embrace his new reality. He became a professional musician, recording albums and living the kind of creative life he never would have imagined before. His story is proof that sometimes, even in the depths of pain, extraordinary gifts can rise to the surface. Number 5. Daniel Tammet. Daniel Tammet's story feels almost unreal. As a child, Daniel suffered from severe epileptic seizures that changed his brain forever, unlocking abilities that most of us can only dream of. Diagnosed with autism, he developed an incredible talent for languages and mathematics. Daniel now speaks 11 languages fluently, including Icelandic, a language he mastered in just 7 days. His talents don't stop there. Daniel also experiences synesthesia, a rare condition where senses blend together. For him, numbers aren't just numbers, they have colors, shapes, and textures. In his mind, the number 117 appears as a beautiful landscape, while the number 9 feels heavy and menacing. This vivid perception allows him to perform insanely complex calculations almost effortlessly. His brain doesn't just compute, it imagines. Daniel's remarkable abilities show how unique neurological wiring can unlock hidden potentials most of us never tap into. His life is a reminder that sometimes brilliance is born from struggle and difference. Number 4. Ken Walters. Ken Walters never planned on becoming an artist. For most of his life, he thrived in engineering, a world of calculations and machinery. But everything changed in 1986 when a forklift crushed him against a wall, causing catastrophic injuries and leading to financial hardship. Years later, a stroke hit him while in the hospital, followed by another one in 2005. That second stroke rewired something deep inside. During recovery, Ken found himself compulsively sketching, an urge so strong he couldn't fight it. His doctors warned that newfound talents sometimes fade after a stroke, but Ken's artistic drive only grew stronger. Soon he moved from simple doodles to sophisticated computer-generated artwork, creating surreal, dynamic pieces that drew attention from galleries and businesses worldwide. What began as an accident became his rebirth. Ken Walters transformed his broken body and battered life into a powerful story of reinvention. His art today stands as a testimony that the mind, even when wounded, can find new and extraordinary ways to shine. Number Dre. Con Super Hands Tran. Con Tran, known across Thailand as Super Hands, has a relationship with heat that most of us would call impossible. Years ago, while working with boiling oil, an accident should have left him severely burned. Instead, to everyone's disbelief, Con's hands showed no signs of injury. Over time, he realized he could freely dip his bare hands into sizzling oil, pull out food, and walk away unscathed. The oil's intense heat, which would instantly blister ordinary skin, didn't seem to faze him. Scientists and skeptics alike have tried to explain it, suggesting everything from unusual skin thickness to rare genetic mutations. None have found a definitive answer. Con's life hasn't just turned into a spectacle, it's become a career, where he continues to amaze crowds, performing his frying feats with a calm ease that feels almost supernatural. His story isn't about magic tricks or illusions, it's about how the human body can sometimes evolve in ways that science hasn't caught up to yet. We say, just one thing, don't try this at home. Number 2. The Lyman Twins. Florence and Catherine Lyman, better known as the Rain Man twins, possess a memory that borders on the impossible. Growing up in the 1960s, when autism was heavily misunderstood, their lives weren't easy. Yet, even from a young age, their minds operated on another level. They can calculate the day of the week for any date in history or the future without hesitation. Their recall extends beyond facts. They can describe in vivid detail what they wore, what they ate, and the weather on any given day of their lives. Music, dates, faces, nothing fades from their memory. However, behind their brilliance was a painful family struggle. Their mother, overwhelmed and embarrassed by their behavior, once tried to harm them, but their younger sister Jane saved them in time. Today, Florence and Catherine are celebrated not just for their incredible gifts, but for their resilience in the face of unimaginable challenges. Their story reminds us that extraordinary talents often come from surviving extraordinary battles. Number 1. Rory Curtis. At just 22 years old, Rory Curtis's life changed in ways no one could have predicted. After a brutal van crash left him with serious brain trauma, Rory spent a week in a coma. When he finally woke up, nothing felt right. Strangely, he could now speak fluent French, a language he had barely grasped before. His parents were stunned, but an even weirder twist followed. Rory became convinced he was someone else entirely, a man named Matthew McConaughey. His reflection felt foreign, his memories disconnected, adding another layer to the mystery. Rory's father discovered their family had roots in Normandy, raising theories about ancestral memory surfacing. As his recovery continued, Rory slowly pieced his real identity back together, but the experience left lasting questions about how brain trauma can reshape memory and self-perception. His story reveals how fragile and bizarre the human mind can be when pushed to its limits. What do you think about this guy? Well, drop your theory below, and we really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.